Joe, you know I'm not one to talk really much about basketball, but I wanted to bring up one point I noticed. Did you see how many moves the Knicks made after Kevin Durant and Kyle Irving went to the Nets? Not sure about you, but I think that there's a little bit of front office jealousy that all the attention's being driven away from what used to be the number one market team in New York for the NBA, even when they haven't acted like one in the last few years. Also, air conditioners going in the background. Don't mind it. It's another hot day in Jersey. What is picking up, along with, as you said, a lot of teams in the playoff contentions, heck, both wild card races are a multi-team melee right now, are the trade deadlines. And I already have a winner. But it's not for who's a winner or loser at the deadline. It's the winner for the most confusing deadline deal of 2019. And the winner of this goes to, with zero surprise whatsoever, this relates back to what I was doing beforehand, the Mets, trading for Marcus Stroman. Now the Mets, as you know, Joe, are one of the worst teams in the National League this season and have very valuable assets that could be traded for prospects. And yet they decided to send two of those prospects that should be kept on and trade for someone who is one of the most sought after pitchers on the deadline by contenders. Now the early results are that a lot of teams are complaining. Several selling teams are complaining that, why are the Mets doing this? Well, it seems like the Mets, despite their failures, thinks they have a great shot at next year. And let's play with this for a little bit. Let's see what the Mets could look like next year. Now this is going to require a few assumptions, some of which could literally be overturned in a few seconds after recording, because the trade deadline is 24 hours away, almost exactly at recording, so bear with me here. But I'm going to see who are going to be the movers and shakers of the 2020 Mets. Now to get the early ones out of the way, who's going to be staying? Now the easy calls for who's on the team are those who are under contract or otherwise are immovable. So starting with the outfield, you have Michael Conforto, Brandon Nimmo, Jeff McNeil returning, Yoenis Cespedes. Moving into the infield, you have Robinson Cano, Pete Alonso, Ahmed Rosario. You could include Jed Lowry or Wilson Ramos in those two, but especially Ramos I could see possibly being traded off during the offseason. Meanwhile, in the rotation, you have Jacob deGrom, Noah Syndergaard. I don't think he's going to get traded if this is the way they're going to be going with, despite the reports. Marcus Stroman, Steven Matz, that's a great four. And just add a serviceable fifth starter and you're good. So, who are the Mets going to add? Well, I'm going to make a prediction and say that their third baseman next year is going to be Bobby Dahlbeck. Who is Bobby Dahlbeck? He is a third base prospect for the Red Sox. Edwin Diaz has had a rocky season, of course. His peripherals are a lot more than what his stats lie for this season. And the fact that he's not yet arbitration eligible until the end of the season means he's paying on a minimum salary, something the Red Sox, who are up against their payroll wall, could very much appreciate. Additionally, the Mets could get Dahlbeck in a trade for Todd Frazier, who, well, let's face it, the Red Sox could use another corner infielder. Zach Wheeler, I think, is going to go to either the Astros or the Twins. If it goes to the Twins, they could probably deal from their catching depth. They have, even at the major league level, strong catching potential for both power and defense, and I would imagine that they would trade from that to get Wheeler. Free agency, it's a bit of a mixed bag, but the only place I could really see them making a move in the infield is at shortstop. Depending on how you view Ahmed Rosario, he's either been serviceable or subpar. And I'm going to make a bold prediction is that they will sign Didi Gregorius. Not only would he introduce a much-needed left-handed presence in that lineup, but would solidify the shortstop position, and most importantly, especially after trying 2019, bring a nice level-headed clubhouse approach. What do you think, Joe? Since you'll be recording after the trade deadline, what do you think about the deadline as well? I will see you next time.